Welcome, beautiful people. How are you today? Welcome, Brooke.
Hello. How you going? Hey, everyone.
And welcome to Matt Balaji. Yay!
Hey! Peace, love, and mung beans.
Peace, love, and mung beans. And yes, absolutely, that is very much a very appropriate introduction for tonight. We are here. I'm Lorene Hughes, your host for tonight, and I'm from Crafting Possibilities. I've got Brooke Hadland, who's from Intuitive Focus, and I've, of course, got Balaji from Sound of the Kuhn. And we do our monthly chat on different topics around just looking at it from the different perspectives, from the masculine and feminine point of view. Hi, Cindy. Hello. And tonight, our juicy, tasty topic is love, light, and bullshit. Because we all have different perspectives on the spiritual industry, and some of our perspectives are the same, and others are just like, oh my fucking God, no. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat around this topic tonight. So, Brooke, what have you been up to?
Me, I've been helping someone renovate a garden, and it got pretty hot today, so I've met a friend down the beach, and I've been chilling. Been absolutely chilling.
Absolutely.
And I think we'll do a fire ceremony down the beach tonight.
Oh, that sounds great.
Which is the eclipse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah, perfect timing to have this kind of conversation on a full moon, a lunar eclipse, a red blood moon, all in Taurus. It's bringing up all the stuff right now. So as a beautiful friend said, and this is just a little bit of a hint, this energy can be a little bit chaotic. So if you were thinking about putting your crystals out tonight to cleanse them, don't. Either have done them yesterday or do them tomorrow, but not tonight while the eclipse is going on. It'll send some really wonky energies through your crystals. And Balaji, how are you going?
Awesome. Getting used to hot weather again. It's not really hot yet, but we haven't had any warm weather yet. It's all been cool and rainy, but beautiful day. And yeah, just busy getting on with life. Sometimes.
Beautiful. And we'll find out what all of you are up to a little bit later. So, love, light, and bullshit. It's a funny, tasty topic. Every time we talk about it, it's done with a bit of tongue-in-cheek, you know. It's sort of like we're not trying to say that people who say love and light are wrong in any way, shape, or form. We are just saying that there's some interesting perspectives around this particular phrasing of love and light. So my first question for you both, and I think we'll start with Matt, what is your thoughts on what love and light is?
Well, love and light to me are essentially the same thing. Light, energy, love is... So, yeah, I mean, yeah. I was ready to answer that question. I still am, but to me, it's the same thing. Sending love, sending light. It's just coming from your heart. It's universal energy. I mean, I guess people look at it differently the way I do, but that's how I see it. You know. So for me, love and light is essentially the same thing. It's just sending out love, which is light, which is everything in a simplistic form of energy. I guess for me. Yeah, it's a hard one, but it's not a hard one. You can make it into anything that you really want to make it into, and people certainly do. So yeah, to me, it's just sending out genuine love, not I love you because it's Christmas, I love you because it's your birthday, or yeah.
Awesome.
I'll probably expand on that more later, but that's just the initial response.
Beautiful. And Brooke, how about you?
Well, they're frequencies. I guess what can be important is what the individual attaches to that frequency. Because I guess that's what we're here to talk. I mean, love seems to be the centerpiece of our energy. How we channel energy through light body, but it's all just frequency. It's all just a contrast of frequency. So I think it's what people attach to that word, which varies for everyone, and that's what we're here to rip apart. Nicely.
Exactly. So when was the first time you sort of came across this concept of, if you can vaguely remember, of love and light? And sort of how did it feel to you when you first sort of came across that?
Well, it sort of seemed, well, you know, when I came into the spiritual community, everyone's like love and light, and you know, we aspire to come from a place of love, which until we come out of self-judgment, it's can be trickier. But it just seemed like just like a catchphrase, too much like a catchphrase, a bit superficial. Like everyone's like, "I love and light, man. I'm sending you love and light," and I'm like, "What is that? What is that?" And I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Matt, when did you sort of vaguely stumble across this love and light phrasing?
Yeah, well, many years ago when I first started down myself, well, again, everything has ego attached to it, and it's deciphering through the ego. But yeah, like Brooke, when I first started on my spiritual path, you know, 18, 19 years ago, that was it. And that's why I made the tongue-in-cheek comment, peace, love, and mung beans, because that's what it was all about. It was all, everything was just one big daisy chain or a field of roses, or probably not roses, but yeah, there's certainly, I get the premise, and I guess it started in the 60s, you know, with the peace movement and all that, and that's fine, because the world needed to change, obviously. But like anything I found, yeah, it was superficial. Not all of it, and not everyone, of course, but a lot of it was purely superficial because it was the thing to do. As Brooke relaxes, yeah. So for me, that's what a lot of it brought up. Same as Brooke. Even when I was so new to energy work and doing stuff, and before I understood a lot of what I understand now, even though I probably don't understand a tenth of what's happening in the world, but even in those days, I could still feel that there was something that just didn't feel right with some people doing it. Like it wasn't genuine. It wasn't, you know, it was like being the politically correctness now or the woke leftist now. It's like, nah, fuck off. Piss off. There's no, people are doing it because it's the agenda. It's the right thing to do. All their mates are doing it. So, but I think it is changing because people are now realizing that it's not all just love and light. We do have the shadow side, and like everything, it's a balance: masculine, feminine, light and dark. It's not all just smelly roses, you know. Yeah, but that's not absolutely. A bad thing. Yeah,
absolutely. And I have to agree, like with you both. It's like when I first came across it, I was like, okay, maybe this is the thing that you're meant to say when you're in this community, so that they know that you're part of this community, kind of thing. It felt like it didn't feel like, if I reflect back on it, it didn't really. And at that time, I was more in the law of attraction circles. That was sort of my beginning stages, and I saw it coming through, or I heard it rather coming through there a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wondered, you know, but it didn't have that depth of feeling. It didn't have that the integrity that you would think that it should have. And, you know, as I've dropped into it more, certainly for me, and now working with theta healing and stuff like that, I really comprehend what love and light actually is, you know. But to get to that stage, even, I had to undo a lot of my perceptions, a lot of my belief systems and points of views, even around the word love, to be able to comprehend the enormity and the beauty of unconditional love. Because that's the space that, you know, is source, it's creator, it's God, it's it's whatever you like to call it. It's the universe, that's unconditional love. And I get that that's actually what is being referred to here is unconditional love and light. Because when you're going and playing in, say, the seventh plane, which is theta healing, you have a bright white opalescent light that you play with, that is surrounding you, that is supporting you in your healing journey and whatever else you're choosing to do up there. And it's like, I get that that's actually what they're talking about. It's that beautiful, unconditional love. It's that supportive space where there are no projections and no expectations of you. You are just required to be there and receive. That's it. Like, you don't have to be a good person. You don't have to confess your sins. You don't have to do any of that sort of stuff. You don't have to, be a hippie wearing, sage smudger, mung beans eater person to be able to receive all of that.
I know. I mean, when people go sending you love and light, sometimes now I'm like, you don't send me love and light. I don't know where your love and light has been.
Yes. So yeah, Cindy just said you had to be airy fairy. There are other emotions too, and it's not all love and light. So yeah, that was I have to agree.
I guess what really got me is with the people sending love and light was what seemed to be, apart from just sort of being a catchphrase, was that would be the tiptoeing around, telling people, something real, giving them the hard message, or giving them something constructive if they want to hear it or not. Because we're like, oh no, we've got to be love and light, and you know what I mean? It's to me, it seems just too as like an avoidance to telling the truth. We all do readings, and I see a lot of readers tell people information, and as correct as it may be, depending on the person's circumstances or the choices they made, that that they're going to struggle to make that timeline. It's not that the reading is necessarily wrong, but it's like people like and they just sort of blow it off like love and light. It's okay. Everyone's where they're at, and I just think that the whole love and light, it's about. I mean, now more than ever, it's about being more realistic and getting down to the nitty gritty of the mechanics of the evolution of the light body, not just this love and light, which is, well, I've heard that it's infiltration by the CIA helped in the New Age, but that's another story. But it's just a sad catchphrase that everyone uses at the moment, and I understand that they're coming from the right space, or they with intent, but there's a lot more to it that people don't want to touch on. Well, they think they're touching on it, or they're not sure.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Matt, have you got anything to add to that little bit?
Well, I'll just reiterate to what I said before about dealing with the shadow side. It's through embracing what, whether people call it darkness or shadow side. It's embracing that side. That's how we learn and grow. It's like love and light. It's like if everything in life was just smelling of roses and was easy, we wouldn't learn and we wouldn't grow, because there's no challenge. There's no, it's not me. That's just the fact of life. It's through the hard times and doing the shadow work and through the hard times that we grow. When we have shitloads of money in our pocket and life's cruising, we just go along day to day. We don't learn nothing. We take everything for granted, whether we mean to or not. We do. It's just really, just having the right intentions, the right energy with everything. Sorry, I'm probably waffling on now. But yeah, just
Brooke, that looks amazing. Sorry, just distracted for a second.
No, that's yeah.
I'm like, Brooke, that's perfect. This looks lovely with the sun setting
There's the
behind
light. Here's your love.
There's the light. Here's the love. See, we all the three of us make a lovely little love heart.
I will, but I'll drop my phone in the water.
So yeah, I agree with you, Matt, in that even, you know, you look at the yin and the yang symbol, right? You've got the little curl with the white curl with a little bit of black in it, and the black one with a little bit of white in it. And that's because there's a balance. There's always going to be a balance between the dark and the light, the challenge and the pleasure, the joyful moments and the sad. There's always going to be a balance, and you can't be only one or the other. You just can't. It's not great to be thinking that all of life is going to be all this nice, airy, fairy, you know, that layer of life. It's just not going to happen. You know, it's just not realistic. And while it's nice to think that it's a possibility, there's always going to be a challenge. Even when you look at plants as they grow, there's the challenge of that seed having to break out of that shell that it's in to be able to go down into the earth and then grow up and push hard in some ways up through the earth to get to the sunlight. So there's the darkness and the light. You know, it's not all just about love and light, you know? Yeah.
And like you're saying, like with the yin and yang, and again, we've said it before, it's balance, you know, and it can mean so many things. Like when I do my personal protection, or even when I'm driving in my van, part of what I visualize and what I do is visualize myself in my van encompassed in this ball of light. And as you know, I'm a big fan of Jesus, not in the religious point of view, but as the great ascended master, and what was his message that he brought to this planet was unconditional love. So there's nothing wrong with love and light when it's used in the right context.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I
Thank you.
Sorry, what was that, Brooke?
I think the whole sending you love and light, I think that's just beginning stuff.
Yeah. I also found with some people who have been around for a long time and they still say it, it almost borders on like elitism. It's like, to me, it has that slight vibe of like, I know better than you, so I'm more powerful than you, so I'm going to send you love and light because quite clearly you need it. It's like, you know, that religious aspect of I'm going to pray for you. It's like, I never asked you to pray for me. And it feels really like just bordering a little bit on judgmental of like, you don't have enough love and light in your life, so I'm going to give you some.
I'll take 3, 4. But you know, look, as you go on your journey, it just, I don't know if it's just belief systems or what, but the evolution of consciousness and the evolution, you know, of the singularity, you know, sort of like, you know, my sort of belief, I guess, that you know, we're meant to raise our vibration, and which, you know, the energetic point is love, is the bridge of the energy flow, and to put that in the conscious. So why would I be sending it? I mean, unless I'm facilitating healing or something, that's my life force. That's my life force for me to channel into the universe, not to give to someone else. And I just think Yeah, there's so many teachings that just get people sidetracked. When the basics, the basics, from what I can understand, are basically, increasing your energy, raising your vibration. And if we give all these things away externally, and it's just another thing, just seems like another thing to give away externally. And I'm like, what is that really? What is that really doing? Is it doing any good, or is it just become a catchphrase of the industry? Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that just do it as lip service.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, like we said earlier, there's that integrity aspect that is often missing. It's kind of like the difference between when you receive a gift from somebody that has no obligations attached and no expectations attached, versus somebody like when there is something given from somebody who does have expectations and obligations. So that whole sort of, I'll scratch your back if you'll scratch my back thing. And you can feel the difference between those two things. And when people say love and light to me now, I sort of sit back from that and go, how's that been sent? Has it been sent with no obligations attached and no judgment? Or has it been sent with obligations and judgment? Because quite often there is judgment attached to it. And that's something that I'm not overly in alignment with these days. Yeah. But it's just an energy at the end of the day too. So that's when you just got to drop those barriers and receive it anyway, like judgment or not.
Yeah, but but the main concern, I think, is the deflection that it causes. And you know what I mean? Everyone's just like sending it. Well, it goes deeper than that. Like when I learned love and light, the other catchphrase is everyone's just where they're at, and well, that's what it is. That's where it's at. But what I found that happens a lot is people won't tell people the truth. They'll just be overly positive. You know what I mean?
But whose truth?
Well, not so much truth. You get a message, like readers. We're like, well, we can't say that. You'll get a message, and instead of saying, hey, look, you need to pull your finger out, otherwise I can pull you all the, give you all the readings you want, and the next love won't be coming in. And just say, like, people go looking for twin flames or looking for their next partner, then you guys know more than ever that until you do the work, they'll just be coming in for lessons. But people just sort of want this love and light fairy tale so they can just use so-called gifts to give them the upper hand in the 3D. And, we go for that, we're here, as far as I'm concerned, we're here to evolve. We're here for the evolution of consciousness. It really gives a frick about the 3D. We've got to live in it, but at the same time, I just see a lot of people, and they're just like, "When's this coming? When's that coming? When am I getting this?" And everything's stuff. They just want stuff to fill their life, and there's just that whole stigma of the love and light around that. It's like love and light, everything's gonna be rosy. You know where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it's the same people that go each month or continually just keep going back to people for readings and readings. It's quite obvious that probably 99.9% of the cases, they're not willing to do the work and do that shadow side, which what we were talking about before. Because if it's the same principle. If you're not willing to do the work and that, you're just going to keep going round and round in a circle. And you got to get off that merry-go-round some stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love doing the reading shows. I really do, because it gives people that moment to go and to connect with the reader from a sort of almost like an introductory kind of a way. But what I love the most about doing the reading shows is that those people that are really committed to moving forward will reach out. They will book in a session and they will continue to do the work because they've got connected with you. And then they'll go, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to do more with that person. And that's why I love doing those reading shows. And sometimes what also happens in those reading shows is that there's those little nuggets of information that are given to the people who are not necessarily getting the readings, but they're watching. And they get those little nuggets and then they go, oh, shit, that really resonated with me. And then they go off and create some really amazing stuff in their life. And we've maybe not even spoken to them directly, but it's something that somebody else has had a reading for that they have connected with and gone, oh, yeah, wow, that actually really, that gives me the tingles. And, oh, shit, that makes my heart grow. And, oh, yeah, let's look at that. And then they go off and get some more work done, you know, or to follow in their journey with themselves. And that to me is really inspiring. And that's why I love doing those shows, because it's like, yes, you do get the ones that go over and over and over again. And, you know, it's lovely when they actually donate and, you know, they honour us in our time and our effort. And, you know, that's a beautiful thing too. But also the people who tune in very often and they see the same people coming up for readings over and over again. They go, do I wish to be like that? And then again, it becomes a point of what am I seeing that I don't wish to be? And that to me is quite exciting too.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't know if I come across as someone now who's now doing tarot readings as well. And I'm doing tarot readings at Queen of Wands fair this Sunday at Blackwood.
Shameless plug.
It wasn't about, you know, I enjoy when I do readings and I feel good. And I feel good when I've given a good reading from the cards, from the tarot cards, etc. But it wasn't about about the readings. Like, you know, saying it was about the people that just go constantly back and back for a reading, hoping something's going to change. You know, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You know, that's what the point I was getting at. If I didn't make myself clear, so yeah. But as someone who's doing readings himself, you know, I enjoy that aspect of giving people actually something that I feel is something solid for them to work on or think about or to move forward with in their life, if they're going to do the work and act on it. So that's what I was getting at.
Well, as you were saying before, Matthew, you know, it's not all love and light. Sometimes love can be quite dark. Can be quite dark issues, and that's the whole thing. Is it's like people are like, oh no, you've got to love and light, and it's like, well, wait a sec, we've got to have the hard words. Sometimes you've got to give the person the opportunity to snap them out of that bullshit.
Yep.
And I used to get all that. I used to say some stuff, and I used to get, oh, everyone's just where they're at, and maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know any better. Maybe they don't know anything else because no one's ever told them that they're going to pull their finger out. You know, and I just think the classic love and light just seems to be a deflection on that sort of scale. Either that or just a catchphrase that should have just be soulfully left on the front of a t-shirt. And that's about it. You know, but you know, true love is about telling people the truth. Not just telling them the rosy light. You know, and as I say, I see a lot of readers and they do great readings and they're giving people encouragement, but you can't always just give people encouragement. Sometimes you've got to pull them aside and go, hey man, I don't know if you know, but that shit that you're doing over there, that's just really pulling your vibration down, man, and leaving you open to bringing in entities and all sorts of crap. You know, because
I know there's been a couple of times on my show which is on a Friday night at 8 p.m. Shameless plug for me.
Shameless self-plug.
Which is called Find Your Fridays, of course. We'll come back to Brooks in a minute. But there's been a couple of times where I've gone, this particular reading here for you, I actually don't wish to say this in a recorded open forum. Please message me afterwards and I will tell you then. Because it's like, I don't, there are some things that I'm just like, that's too private. And I don't wish to do that in a big open forum. It's like when they ask for the reading, that's not necessarily what they were expecting to hear. So it's like, okay, this is going to be a bit harsh. I'll take this and we will talk about it privately. Please message me.
Oh, I was just going to give a warning to the people that come onto the reading shows. You should hear what some of us readers say behind the screens after the show's ended. Oh, my God, you don't want to hear it. You'd have a meltdown. It's just an awareness. It's not judgment. It's just an awareness.
I love my community. I send them all love and light. All of them love and light. I'd just like to address a couple of things in the chat here. So we got Cindy has quite rightly said that for her, you need to know yourself and be comfortable with yourself. You know, I completely agree about that one. You know, that's a part of bringing in the darker sides of you and the lighter sides of you to realize that they're both important. And that once you're actually comfortable with the dark sides of you, the negative aspects of you, the fact that, like for me, do I like it when I get really fucking angry and I'm pushed to that point where I completely lose my shit? No, I don't like that side of me. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's fucking explosive and it's not nice to be around. But it's like, that's the point where shit gets done too. You know, so there's a potency and a power with that too, where I know that I have the capacity to use that to my advantage. So yes, it's a darker, more negative aspect of me, but it gets shit done. You know, it gets people to listen that perhaps weren't listening before. And, you know, that's it. That's where you're in allowance of both, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're the powerful times. They're the powerful times. The times when you're stressed. The times when you're acting in fear, and you realise that the times you get triggered. The times where it stirs up strong emotion. That's, you know, stuff comes to the surface to be shown to you, to be dealt with. There seems to be too much avoidance. Oh no, you just had a bad day. Go and meditate, and you'll be good. No, go on, go deep and work it out. Because if you're continually having the same trigger, how many times do you need to have the same trigger? Now, here's stories of people having the same sort of trigger over the same sort of things. And it's like, you know, you call yourself super spiritual. I'm not being judgmental, but, you know, with the love and light aspect, there's people, spirituality, which I'm not that fussed about, but you know, the self mastery and the evolution. It seems to be almost two different things at the moment.
Yeah.
People just go chasing gifts and chasing feelings, and if you don't, you know, take note of your triggers, take note of your emotions. I mean, if you get triggered, how many times do you have to get triggered over the same thing before you work it out? And it's not like you suddenly stop getting triggered. The first thing you do is you realise it. Then next time you get triggered over that same thing, as you catch yourself, like internally you're getting fucking triggered, but you don't react to it. It starts like that, and you slowly get better until you start to understand what it's doing. But it seems to be, the love and light seems to be, you know, what associated with this avoidance. And it's like, oh, it's okay. Everyone's where they're at. All love and light, and it's just. And it's just counterproductive, extremely counterproductive.
Yeah, I have to say, in my interactions with other potent healers, I love it when they pull me up on my bullshit, and they're like, "Is that really true for you?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, no, it's not." You know, where I've just bought into a lie. You know, and we all do it. And unless you're like really, really far through your journey, like we tell ourselves these lies and we start believing them. And if you're very fortunate, you will have the type of friends in your world which will pull you up on your bullshit, that will say, hey, is that actually true for you? I don't get that that's actually something that's relevant to you, or whatever, however they choose to ask that question. And to help you to go back to the awareness and what is true for you. Where is your heart? What is your lightness? Where is the lightness in that for you? And something around the triggers, a nice little catchphrase I heard a long time ago was, anything that triggers you now belongs in the past. So if it's triggering you now, it belongs in the past, and it's something for you to look at to heal and sort out, whether it be in this lifetime or another lifetime or whatever. It's like there's a reason why that's coming up, and it's time to look at it, because that's why it's triggering you, and it'll keep triggering you until you actually deal with it.
It's interesting because when you say trigger, for me, when I first started off, and what I was learning, we called them like discernment lessons, and it's the same thing. If the same thing kept happening, what weren't you acknowledging? What weren't you learning? What weren't you? And it comes down to ownership. People don't want to take ownership. It's because they just want to pass the blame onto someone else. It's someone else's fault, you know. Mummy didn't do this, Daddy didn't do that, or whatever. And regardless of what it is, it comes down to you taking ownership for your own shit. And that's. And, you know, and as I was taught by a great teacher, Trish, who was very big in my early days, and I did my Reiki Masters with and did a lot of courses with her and learned a lot from her, was about the discernment lessons and the Mack truck lessons, as she used to call them. And, you know, these little things keep happening to you. You don't need to go back for a reading. You don't need to go. That's when you go internal and look at what's going on, you may still need to go and get advice from someone, whether it be a reading or whatever, but just, you know, what are they not willing to look at? Because if something's repeating it, there's obviously a pattern, and it's something that you have to work on in your life. It is a discernment lesson. Like I said, you guys call it a trigger. I call it a discernment lesson. Same thing. I just wanted to put that out there, that it's still basically the same thing. But we've got to take fucking ownership for our own shit. We can't push it on or blame anyone else. It's our lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, the ego was the first big hard one, like getting offended, you know, looking at and understanding that when we get offended, it's just, you know, the ego going, how dare you do that to me? How dare you say that to me? That was the first big. And I see some people still haven't. There's, you know, when it's sad when you see people that have been on this path for a long time and they're still getting. I mean, I'm not talking about sometimes you got to stand up for your rights and speak your mind, but just all the little things that we internally get offended over by our ego, and just, you know, it's you know, this is a base. This is the basics as far as I'm concerned. That's one of the base ones, and to see people that just still take it so much to heart. And now and then something will offend my ego and I'll get offended, and then I'll have to go internally. I'll be going, okay, why am I getting offended? What does it really mean to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's a continual process, but it's, you know, these are some of the basics, because, you know, when you start getting offended, that's a low vibration. And what do they say? The best way to raise your vibration is get rid of the lower vibrations.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just anchoring you down.
Absolutely. And that's when you move into that space of allowance. It's like, if you can be an allowance for everything and everyone with no point of view, including all points of views, like in everybody else's belief systems and stuff, when you can actually move into that and be in that space, it means that the love light stuff, that low vibration, the offensive, all of the things that we've been talking about, we just see them for what they are. Whether they be sent with great intentions, whether they be sent as just lip service, whether they be sent basically as a hello, It's like it had, it's sort of moved into that thing of just being hello for a lot of people, or goodbye, love and light, and it's like, okay.
And it's
I was just going to make a quick point on that about readings and giving advice. I've had to do it a couple of times myself, but I was lucky in my early days that I was pulled aside by men. Oh, sorry, that sounds a bit funny. I've had a talking to by one person, but two different men at different stages, especially in the early years, and it felt like I was getting slapped in the face, but it was exactly what I required to hear at that time, because my thought patterns weren't right or my actions weren't right. So we can say love and light, but also I required almost like, grabbing me by the ear, pulling me aside and say, listen, young man, but it was done with love, and it was done with compassion, and it was done with integrity and honesty. And I honour those men. I know one's passed over now, but I honour those men for doing that, because they really helped me and steered me back on a truer path than what I was heading down on. So that's just another point to talking about, where the love and light, airy fairy style.
Yeah. Along with all of that, just Brooke, you might get a bit of a giggle out of this one. Timothy said, Brooke is sounding like the Dirty Harry of readers. There's still a tower card in here, punk.
I like that. Gotta get my tarots out more.
Yeah, I'm loving working with the tarots lately. They've sort of weaved their way in a lot more into my Friday show, that's for sure, and it's fun. It's like when I want to go that little bit extra depth, it's fun having the tarot there. The oracle cards are great, and I like them for just those fast, quick, like boom, boom, boom type readings. But the tarot is fantastic for those more in-depth ones. And so we also got in there that in the chat we said, Tim was also saying that all we can do is plant seeds unless we are invited to say more, and it's up to the individual whether they make the choice to dig in and do the work, and you never know when those seeds are going to take root and grow. And
absolutely,
I would totally agree with that. There's things that popped up for me like 5 years later, and I've gone, oh wow, like the biggest aha moment for me was I was hosting a book club, and there was a whole bunch of other people that were actually facilitating each of the chapters. And this one particular day I went, can you just tell me, how like we expand out into the universes and stuff, are we actually that expansive on the inside? Like, have we actually got the universe inside ourselves? Like that infinite space? And the facilitator said, yes. He said, I love those aha moments that people get. And I was just like, fucking A, I knew it. And it felt like the biggest piece of news in my world totally. And it just like completely blew my brains for a couple of days. And I was just like, oh my goodness, and I'd be like, did you know that you're like infinite universe inside yourself? Like, this is fucking incredible. And then, and slowly through,
I'm going to use that with my brother. Get your universe off the couch and do the dishes, mate. No, he's good.
Yeah. Okay, so Carol says, I'm speaking my authentic truth on unconditional love. Just being. My person expects love to be a certain way. Even though we're not together, the love is there, and that's okay. I can't be anything but authentic. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we were talking about at the start of the show, is like there's this space of unconditional love, and it's like that's the space that we like, from my perspective, and I think the guys sort of agree that when we're talking about love and light, we when we talk about unconditional love, it's love with absolutely no rules, no boundaries, no obligations, no projections, no expectations, nothing attached to it at all. That is true unconditional love. This is the unconditional love is for everything and everyone, okay? Whether you've murdered people, whether you've done terrible, horrible things to other people and animals and all the rest of it, unconditional love is still there. And it's there for you to receive. It does not judge you, ever. And that's the part that people have a lot of difficulty with. When they say that they love someone, they'll often be attaching a whole bunch of belief systems, projections, expectations on that word love towards the other person.
Yeah.
Well, now that I've said I love you, I now expect you to do X, Y, Z for me.
Yeah, because they're still in self-judgment and haven't truly understand the full definition of love. Because if they would truly love themselves for who they are, they would give themselves the space to be them. To grow, to make mistakes, to do all that. But at the same, but if you can't do that for yourself, how are you? You don't know what it fully is. So how can you do that to someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when I talk about it, it's like, I hope you have a great day, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome. It's not just one way or the other. There's variations and there's shades in amongst every single experience that we have that is all good, bad, ugly, and awesome. Sometimes we can't see the awesome until after we've gotten out of a situation, but there we go.
And that's your raising your awareness and perspective of things. From my point of view, when I started off with the drumming and learning about the Native American way of doing things with the energy and the 4 directions, it's like, you're coming from the south, you're in that lowest energy and you're stuck in the pure drama of it. When you can work your way around to the east and you come from the eagle, you're looking down and seeing the whole picture and the perspective. You're not caught in the drama. You can see the whole, you can see the whole picture. And that's what I like telling people about when I talk about and discuss things that I do and with the sound and energy work. It really is all about your perspective, and it's the same thing. Are you caught in the drama of it and can't see the, and from someone who's been there a few times, curled up in a ball on the lounge room, so when you can, look at the bigger picture and, just that's the biggest thing. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and what can, and something as simple as that can change your whole perspective of what was a drama. So,
Brooke just stuck out his tongue at me. How rude.
No, it was someone else.
That's all right. I forgive you.
Well, did you know forgiveness has a higher vibration than love?
I thought you were going to send me love and light.
Anyway,
Send me love and light.
I bent over your way, Brooke, and I sent you some light.
Cheeky boys. All right, so we've got a couple of other comments in there from beautiful Lynn from New Zealand. She says, to be the change and people see it in us. So, and with great guidance and honesty and help from those around you, it really helps. And, just conquering everything, and it's the reality of, like, I really like what Brooke has brought in, what we've been talking about tonight, of how we do require to know and see and be held accountable for the both of the aspects. And so it's not all love and light. It's not all rainbow farts, rainbows, fairy farts and daisies. It's just not that. Life is not that. And that's, if you think that it is, you're going to have a very rude shock when you hit the real world, and I think that sort of leads into a topic that we've sort of touched on a couple of times before around how children are being raised at the minute where everything is just so easy and it's handed to them on a plate, and they've literally been raised in the school of love and light, and where, you know, everybody gets offended if you say something that they don't like, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And to me, it's like, where's the reality here? Where is the resilience? They're not teaching children to be resilient. And, you know, because out in the real world, not everything is love and light, you know, not like that. Not everybody's going to hand everything to you on a plate.
I'm offended that you're offended by me being offended, all right? I just wanted to make that point.
I take umbrage with your offence.
Me? That's your shit, not mine. I'm good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So have you got any parting thoughts around love and light and bullshit? How would you much rather people speak with each other instead of just saying love and light?
Well, I mean, depending on what you're telling them, if you're imparting knowledge or in conversation, but I mean, you can be true, but I guess it comes down to having empathy in how you deliver it. You know, I think that comes down to a lot of it. It could be the true message that you're giving them, but how do you want to give it? So I think it's like we were talking about the other day. It's putting yourself in their shoes, or understanding. I guess don't have to put themselves in your shoes, but just having that awareness, that empathy of where they are on their journey. So I think that's a really good skill as a teacher, healer, whatever, if you can do that. So you can deliver your message with a bit of kindness and a bit of compassion without losing the message, if you know what I mean, without losing what you're required to tell them. And I think that is a true skill which I'm trying to master. I might get there by the end of my lifetime, but just being able to deliver that message in the way that they will react to it, you know what I mean? If you can go blah, blah, blah at someone, a lot of people just pull up the fence, pull up the wall, shut down. They won't hear what you're trying to tell them. So it's just, yeah. And then some people need that little bit of a grab them by the shoulders and go blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's my perspective.
Yeah. Compassion. Compassion. Yes. Kindness. I think that's a point of view, depending on the situation. And we don't always get it right. Why does everyone say hard on everyone? Can't we just be love and light? I had to do that. But yeah, it's all about coming from that heart space, that absolute heart space with compassion. But sometimes, in truth, sometimes you do have to be cruel to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah,
and that's where people get it wrong, because I think, you know, the whole love and light thing is they try to be like, no, you've got to be really nice, and you're going to be, you know, everyone should like you, and like, yeah, no, that's not real. That's not real. And you know, if you're seeking truth, you want to keep it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
exactly. Exactly. I completely agree with you both. 100%. I think I've got another question up my sleeve. So, but while that's brewing, Brooke, what are you up to in the next little bit? How can people get in touch with you? What are you doing? Shows, etc.?
I've got on Thursday, I've got my reading show, which is my Love and Light reading show. No, look, I just try to give whatever messages come out, I try to give it to the people compassionately, is to the best of my ability that they get the message in a way that they can understand. But if anyone wants to contact me, best way to get is just message me on Facebook. That's Messenger's still the number one. Or send me an email. My email address, you can send me an email through my website, maturityfocus.net.au. And then I think I'm on Sunday. Who's on Sunday? You're on Sunday, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think Lorene's on this Sunday on Feels Like Sunday.
Happy days, happy days. And Matt, we know, is going to be up at the Queen of Wands on Sunday. And Matt, you've got a drumming thing coming up soon, haven't you?
Blackwood at the Queen of Wands Fair Sunday. I think it's 17th November, I have to confirm, but I'm also drumming at Boffa on a Wednesday night. It's either next week or the week after. I think it's next week. So Breath of Fresh Air with John Stamalos. And 27th, I having my sound bath and drum healing session at Queen West Yoga Studio in Seaton, 405 Grange Road. Tickets available via the Eventbrite booking event page. I think that was right, isn't it? Yeah, Sunday, 27th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
And Sunday, the 20th, is my birthday. All presents greatly received with an open heart.
Indeed.
So I also now have a website. It's a work in progress, but at least has a bit more information. So www.soundofthekuhn.com. And same as Brooke, you can contact me via my email, not his, at soundofthekuhn@gmail.com.
Next thing you know, Brooke ends up with all these emails from Matt. I love it. And of course, for me, I'll be on Brooke's show on Sunday. I'll be on my show at 8 p.m. on Friday. And my next events over the coming time is on the 20th. Yes, Matt's birthday. I'm actually going to be down at the, I know, terrible, Adelaide Wellness Fairs over at the RSL in Kilkenny. So you'll be able to come down, grab a reading healing session with me over there. And I think it's free to come in. I have a feeling it's free. So yeah, that's coming up for me. So that's cool. And of course, next week we have for Tasty Tuesdays a guest who is a mystery at the moment. We've had some shifts and changes going around, so we'll have to wait and see about that one. So that'll be a mystery surprise. Okay, so just having a check over in the chat there, we've got Amanda says that she wishes her farts were like fairy farts, more like air sirens, especially after baked beans.
Go, Amanda.
Thanks for that, Amanda. Yes, Brooke.
Not going there. Not going there. It's okay.
I was going to say, Lorene and Amanda, have you been eating the same campbell?
And she also said that compassion needs to be truth, in her opinion, not sugar-coated. I think there's certainly a way to express truth without being brutal. You can absolutely be very truthful without being brutal, in that the message gets through, so that the people, as Matt said earlier, don't put up their barriers, don't put up their walls, and the message doesn't get through, because that's the other thing that can happen if you're too in their face. And that just comes down to experience, and it comes down to knowing your audience, as in who you're speaking with. Just being able to word things in a way that helps them to identify their own awarenesses, their own truths, if you like, and go, oh shit, that is true for me. Okay, that's something for me to look at, and it is done from that place of compassion. And yet I completely agree with both of the lads here that there are times when you just got to go, wake the fuck up, people. Just come on.
You're late for work again today, Matthew. Hey?
Hey,
Were you late for work again today?
No.
Mate. Oh, okay. I just thought.
No, he's very good about making sure he wakes himself up.
but that's what I was saying. With compassion, it certainly wasn't coming from a place of weakness or anything. It's like I say to people, don't mistake my good nature and my wanting to be just a good person as a sign of weakness. If I need to stand my ground and say fuck off, I will. So compassion certainly doesn't mean weakness. It's an awareness coming anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, Brooke, have you got any final words?
Yes. Bye. I'm going to go and eat.
Absolutely. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to join us tonight, and enjoy the full moon. Enjoy the eclipse. For us, it's about an hour. It's sort of starting now-ish. So it'll be finished. It'll be about full eclipse in about an hour, if I remember rightly, and about 9-ish in Adelaide time. And so, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Do some really deep release work. Get those candles out. Do your intentions. Burn the things if you need to burn stuff. Preferably not your house down.
Put up your garlic, your silver crosses, and your silver for the werewolves and the vampires.
Yes, all of that. But yes, it's while the energy at this time can be quite chaotic, and if you're anything like me, you probably have not slept too terribly well over the last couple of nights. I'm looking forward to sleeping more. But yeah, it'll be great to have a nice, deep, long sleep instead of a very intense, short sleep, which is what I've had the gift of having the last couple of nights. So it would be great to have a little bit more nurturing of the body. So thank you, Tiffany, for tuning in and setting your intentions this morning. That's wonderful. Get out there, do that deep work, and enjoy being you no matter what. Have a brilliant time, everybody. Check out Brooke on Thursday on his show at what time?
8 p.m. Adelaide time.
8 p.m. My show on Friday at 8 p.m. We'll be together this Sunday at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And check out Balaji on Sunday.
Come to Blackwood.
Good fair.
All righty. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, my friends. And just remember, be bold, be brave, be you, no matter what. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.